You can totally take a relationship and turn it around 180 degrees, and you can do it faster than you may think is possible. And it comes down to a few very simple principles. So if you're in a situation where you're looking at separation or divorce, or the other person just isn't willing to try anymore, then listen to what I'm about to say right now. It comes down to 3 basic things that I want you to do. You can write them down if you want to. Number 1 is detoxification. Number 2 is triggering happy hormones. Number 3 is triggering attraction. All right, let me talk about each one of those, okay? So number 1 is detoxification. Listen, relationships don't end because of toxicity, because toxicity is going to happen to every relationship. Period. Over time, you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be miscommunications. There are going to be things that don't work inside the relationship. We're going to make some mistakes. That's not the problem. The actual issue is the lack of detoxification. We were never taught how to actually detoxify a relationship. And what do I mean by that? Well, what happens when you guys miscommunicate? What happens when there's a residue of all this negative stuff that's left because someone didn't show you love, or you misinterpreted what they said, or things went awry somehow? Well, what happens? You got to be able to take that stuff out. So it's not that you can ever prevent those things from ever happening, because they will happen. It's that you've got to be able to take out the toxicity quickly and easily before they start making decisions about you, about the relationship, about how things go. So it's the biggest thing that you have to understand about a relationship is when things aren't going well, your partner already wants out. You just can't be nice about the situation. It's impossible. What you've got to do first is that you've got to detox the relationship, because there's no space to actually put in what you want to. What I mean by space is this. Think about a cup, right? You've got this cup and it's filled to the brim. And let's say it's filled to the brim with toxicity. And then what you do is that you try to drop in a little bit of goodwill. Well, if you try to put anything in to that container at that point, guess what's going to happen? It's going to displace, it's going to spill over. But what's it going to spill over? Is it going to spill over the goodwill? No, it's not. It's going to spill over the toxicity. And so what happens is, even though you're trying to put goodwill in, even you say, hey, I'm changed now. Things are different. No, but I'm going to show up great. I'm going to buy you flowers. I'm going to be nice to you. I'm going to, take care of your laundry. I'm going to do whatever those things are that you always wanted me to do before. Guess what? They can't hear it. You know why? Because you're trying to drop 1 drop of goodwill in, good energy, into this whole thing of toxicity. And it's overflowing with that toxicity. So the number 1 thing you've got to do is take out that toxicity, and that would be the beginning of your journey. Now, we're never taught how to take out toxicity, all right? And so in this video, it's gonna be, I can only give you a little bit of help inside of taking out toxicity, and certainly short-term toxicity, but it's one of the biggest things that we have to do, and it's 90% of what it's gonna take to bring a relationship back from the dead. Okay, so one of the things that you can do right away, guys, is what we call disappearance. We actually want to have that toxicity, we want to have that negativity disappear. I'll probably talk a little bit more about disappearance as time goes on, but to have that happen, guys, it's actually not that hard if you can catch the short-term upset before it becomes long-term toxicity. And so one of the ways that we do that is just simply by listening. Believe it or not, guys, it's inside of active listening. So consider this way. Someone tells you, and they're gonna say this like this, okay, get ready. You're a narcissistic blah, 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 and all you care about is yourself. I can't stand you, right? And they say something like that. Then you could actually actively listen. You could actually reflect, psychological terms called reflection, right? You can reflect it back and say, okay, I hear it. Right? You don't want to say the exact words, you don't want to parrot. So number 1 is called reflection. You're now going to say, hey, I really hear that I have not been there for you, and you feel like I've been narcissistic, that I have been selfish inside of our relationship, right? That's reflection. Number 2, emotion. You're now going to get the emotion behind what they're saying. And what I hear is that you're frustrated. You're frustrated about this situation. You're over it the way that it is. That's the emotion or the experience. Number 3, the intention. What do they really want? Well, they don't want to call you a jerk. They don't want to have you hurt. They don't want to cause you they don't want to cause you pain. What they really want for themselves is something. When people complain, what they really want is the thing that they really want. And so you're going to say, and you're going to acknowledge that intention, and you're going to say, what you really want is, you want a relationship where you know the other person has your back and you never have to worry about that. And they're going to say, well, yeah. But it's not just that, it's this. And they're going to keep going. But guess what we just did? We just took a little bit of that toxicity out of the cup, which gives more availability energetically for us to put goodwill in when it's time. So guys, start going to work on that. That's going to make a big difference inside of detoxification, right? I just gave you a big one. Take that on. Once again, you're going to reflect it back to them. You're going to acknowledge their emotion, their experience. You're going to acknowledge the intention behind their communication that really wanted to be stated, okay? And so that's one of the things. Then the second thing that we talked about here, guys, and once you get past detoxification, is what we call D.O.S.E. You got to trigger happy hormones in them, right? So the next thing that you're going to do is, now that you've made a little bit of space energetically, now you get to actually trigger happy hormone, all right? And so how do we trigger those happy hormones? Well, first of all, you want to discover exactly which one of theirs happy hormones they go after. Is it dopamine? Is it oxytocin? Is it serotonin, endorphins? Let me tell you, dopamine people, they need to have something. They need to accomplish something. So if that's their thing, then you can give them rich foods. They like rich foods. They like take them out to dinners or whatever else. These are important things you can do. You can actually trigger happy hormones in them, believe it or not. You can trigger that dose. Oxytocin, they need to be hugged, they need to be touched, they need to be supported. If you can do that, guess what? You're triggering a happy hormone. It'll show up in them over time. It will change the game, etc., etc. Now, we don't have enough time for me to go through all of them, but I am writing a book. It's coming out very soon. A lot of these principles are going to be in the book. It's called Marriage Mastery. And so when it comes out, you're going to be able to read that and get that. But really, guys, if you want help with this, the best thing for you to do is to book a call or just to reach out to me so we can make a difference for you. It's about mine. And so let me talk about number three. Number three is actually what we call triggering attraction. Now, someone asked a question once, which was, is attraction a choice? That's a really good question to ask. Is attraction a choice? In my working with thousands of people, I'm going to tell you right now that the answer really is no, but a little bit yes, but mostly no. Attraction is not a choice. It can be triggered. It's triggered in us, right? So we don't choose who we're attracted to. Have you ever met anybody that you thought was great? They look great on paper and everything, and you wanted to be attracted to them, but you weren't. You felt absolutely zero for them. Yes, we've all been there, 1000%. Well, guess what? Here's the reality, is that you didn't choose that. If you could have chosen it, you would have chosen to be attracted to them. There are certain things you can do to trigger attraction in your partner. Now, more than ever inside this video, what I want to say is I want to give you hope. I want you to understand that, number one, I gave you a tremendous amount of power and value inside of understanding how to detox that relationship, right? You got to do there. You got to start there. If you start there, you're going to win big. Number two is that you got to now trigger happy hormones so you can bring the relationship back together and have them want to move towards you, because we're constantly moving away from stress. We're constantly moving toward happy hormone, right? So you're going to want to trigger those happy hormones so you can have them want to move towards you. And lastly, you've got to trigger attraction and do that over and over again. And you do those three things, what's going to happen is that your relationship's going to do a 180. Instead of talking about separation, divorce, instead of wanting out and having no chance at it at all, you are now going to be on the other side, where they're going to want to spend their life with you. They're going to want to be with you. They're going to find themselves, even though they said no chance in hell, it's never going to happen, they're going to find themselves wanting to get back with you, right? And that's just how that goes. And it goes for thousands of our clients. I hope that gave you value. This is kind of a long video too, and I'm trying to make them very short. If you want to know more about this, then you can always reach out to us. And definitely you want to hit that subscribe button, because I've got a lot more coming your way that's going to be of real value to you. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if this made a difference for you, and look for more content. I'll talk to you soon.